Hello. Welcome back to CC TitleTown. This is episode 19?
18.
I'm ahead of myself. I was behind. Episode 18. It's September 20th. It's Friday night. Got a bunch of big games coming up this week, especially here in, it's a big game for our hometown, but not at our hometown.
Right.
We got Notre Dame playing Georgia this week at Georgia, which will be crazy atmosphere, I'm sure.
I can't wait to watch that game. I'm honestly a little scared.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, everybody, this is Cam. Chris didn't introduce me this time.
Oh, yeah. That might be a first.
It is a first, man.
That might be a first.
What are you doing, man? You're a vet now.
I was too excited for the game this
I know,
weekend.
me too. It's cool. It's cool.
So, okay, how's Cam doing?
I wish I could say I'm doing good. Life is good. Don't get me wrong, but my Cubs.
When it comes to the sports world,
life's
not too good
I'm shook right now, man. I am shook.
Yeah.
So, like we were talking, Notre Dame's got a huge game at Georgia this week.
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrow, actually, 8 p.m. I'm nervous, dude, honestly.
It is going to be, you know what, I don't, just to get it out of the way, I think they're going to cover the spread.
Which is
14.5 points.
Okay.
I do. I don't. If I had to put money down, I don't think they would win. I see it being closer to a 7 to 10 point game, maybe. But if they can stay competitive, take it deep into the fourth, quarter, and give themselves a shot.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I mean, last year we got beat by Clemson, and they were just running their mouth on the internet, and then they got their asses handed to them by Texas. And
you're talking about Georgia?
Yeah. So,
yeah.
I mean, I'm very anxious for the game, you could say.
I am too. Part of me wants to think that, we're going to go down there and obviously we're going to go down there and compete.
Right.
I don't think Kelly's going to have his team not ready to go.
Right.
He's been in enough big games.
Exactly.
To where he should know what to do by now at this point to get his team ready. However, I just don't think we have. I don't think the matchup is great. Right. Honestly, Georgia's run game is their strongest suit.
Right.
Our run defense this year is not what it has been in the past. It's not strong.
Right. No, it's not. And just like we could always say, these SEC teams, I mean, Georgia hasn't played Vanderbilt, Murray State, Arkansas State, and they blow them all out.
Yeah.
Just to get, hype up, the confidence up, for games like these. But they're still good.
Oh, we know how good Georgia is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're going to come ready to play. They know they have to win every single game to get to the
to the playoffs.
Yeah, just like Notre Dame does.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, they're going to have to come back around. They're going to have to play Bama.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, they're going to lose that game.
They seem to find a way to lose the Bama.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They've had the lead on them a couple times the last couple of years, and they just, blow it away.
Right.
Hopefully they do that tomorrow. I don't know if Notre Dame's good enough to take advantage of those opportunities that, Georgia may give them, but we'll see. Ian Book, I like Ian Book at quarterback. When Notre Dame played Georgia 2 years ago, we only lost by 1 point.
And we should have won that game.
We had Brandon Wimbush at quarterback. I love Brandon Wimbush as a person, whatever.
Right.
He wasn't exactly the passer that Ian Book is.
Not nearly, I feel like.
He wasn't. He could run, though. He could extend the play. He could run. It's going to be interesting to see what Book does against that fast defense. It's going to be the fastest defense he's probably going to see all year.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see, what he can do, if he can continue like his passing efficiency. I think right now he's 5th in the country.
Yeah.
That's what I just read.
Passer rating?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you said? Yeah. No.
No, I'm passing efficiency.
Efficiency. Okay.
Yep.
So. Which is, I mean, that's no slouch of a, position to be in.
And that's him. He's accurate, man. He's accurate as hell with the ball.
He's always been accurate too, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's the scary part is I'm more worried about the run game because like we said earlier, we were talking about Ian Book is tied for rushing yards on the team.
Yeah,
with Tony Jones Jr. Literally tied in yards.
He's not Tim Tebow.
Right.
We don't predicate our offense around a running quarterback.
Exactly.
And that's kind of scary.
Right. And that's why I'm a little nervous for that. I feel like if the Irish run game can be average, get us into those third and short.
Mm-hmm.
Get those 2 yard. If it's 3rd and 2, we need 2 yards. Like, just be able to get that.
Get 2 yards.
We don't need a 200-yard rushing game from somebody. We just need you to be able to make those small plays to extend those drives.
Yeah.
And give that defense a break.
Yep.
So I'll be anxious to see, because didn't we have a couple backs go down? Isn't somebody
Jafar Armstrong? Yeah, and he is our breakaway back.
Yeah, he's that guy. That,
He's a Josh Adams type, Dexter Williams type back.
Exactly. Is he out for the season?
No, he'll be hopefully back in the next 3-4 weeks.
Okay, perfect.
So mid-season.
Right.
Which it'd be great to have him now though.
Yeah.
Biggest game of the year.
We'll definitely be missing him. I guess, what do you think you're more concerned of? Are you more concerned of Georgia's rushing or passing? Fromm has. That's right, Fromm.
Yeah,
he's
Fromm,
been
he's
average. First 2 games, he put up less than 200 yards both games.
But I feel like he just doesn't make mistakes.
Yeah, he doesn't hurt himself.
Yeah, he doesn't hurt himself. Doesn't hurt the team. Honestly, though, my biggest fear is their run game.
With Swift back there.
Oh man, Swift is.
Yeah.
He's good.
Yeah.
Georgia is running back you.
I agree.
They had 3 NFL backs on their team.
Yeah.
At one time, Todd Gurley, Sony Michel, and why am I drawing? Nick Chubb.
Yep, exactly.
All on the same team.
Right.
Are you kidding me?
All starters, all
in the NFL.
Yeah, at once.
Yeah.
So
that's gonna be their run game. Honestly, that's gonna be the key to the game right there.
Right.
Can Notre Dame stop Georgia's run? If they can, and then we got to make Jake Fromm a passer.
Right.
I think we have a chance.
Yeah, and I don't think it's more. I don't see us stopping it, but containing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and outside, like I said, they haven't really played much to see. Like, I feel like it's gonna be a full game where Swift and White back there are gonna have to be, ready to go a full game. Where the first 3 games, like, they're getting their 10, 12 touches, and then fourth quarter they're probably not playing.
Right. That's true.
So we know what they can do.
Right.
We're not taking anything away from them. But yeah, I'll be anxious to see them going a full game. What happens. But yeah, no, that I agree. Notre Dame's defensive line, and tackling has to be on point.
It's got to be
long.
There were too many missed tackles the first week against Louisville.
Oh yeah. Luckily Fromm doesn't move like that.
Man, we struggle against mobile quarterbacks. Always have. It's just a lot of teams do though. I don't want to say just Notre Dame does. A lot of teams do.
Exactly. I don't know. I think we should be able to move the ball decently.
You think?
Like I said, we can't put ourselves in 3rd and 8s, and we can't abandon the run game too early.
I agree. 100%.
We have to stick to it. Even though it's going to be hard.
It is.
It's not going to come easy at all. And it may take a couple big plays to save the game.
A couple big plays. I think we're gonna pull out a couple trick plays. I think
they're going to have
tomorrow.
to. They're going to need to do something.
Some kind of get some momentum going.
Right.
For the whole team.
But I don't know. I would personally take the under. I don't think we're going to lose by 15 points.
Yeah. I gave a prediction today with some people at work, and each person that I talked to predicted Notre Dame to win.
Right.
I'm like, guys, I love Notre Dame through and through. I'm probably as big of a Notre Dame fan as you'll find.
Exactly.
But my prediction was 27-17 Notre Dame. They do cover the spread, but I just don't know that they can
at Georgia.
It's tough,
that place is
man.
going to be insane.
Tough environment.
Yeah.
Those people. Did you see how they traveled up here?
Oh, trust me, I saw them.
It was almost half red in Notre Dame Stadium back in 2017.
Right. Exactly.
I know they're going to be hyped for this game.
Oh, they're going to be, like you said. until it comes to the SEC championship, this is the biggest game of their season.
Yeah, it really is.
Even though they play Florida, who to me isn't
Florida's
all
not that great.
Florida's
not that great.
No, they have Auburn also. Auburn's always kind of plays Georgia tough and Bama tough, but still, I think Notre Dame is better than those two teams.
And I think as a fan, like the Georgia fans, like they are hyped for this game.
Exactly.
They marked this game on the calendar 2 years ago.
Exactly.
Like they are ready for this game.
Yeah. So until the SEC championship, this will be the biggest game for the Bulldogs this year.
For sure.
And yeah, I am very anxious.
What's your prediction?
Like my score prediction?
Yeah. You said they're going to cover the spread.
I think they're going to cover the spread. I don't think they're going to win. I could see it being a 24-21.
Okay. Close.
Yeah. But I could see it coming down to a 4th down with 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
And us not converting it.
Something like that.
You know what I mean?
You know, something reminds me of Clemson.
Yeah, like I said, give ourselves a chance and put us in a position to win the game.
Yeah.
You know, obviously that's always a more heartbreaking loss, but like,
yeah,
it's something definitely to be proud of. And I don't know,
well,
I see it being closer than people think.
You know, the thing about like the rest of the media in the nation, it seems like, you know, so down in Athens and in Georgia,
right,
we're getting a lot of respect.
Right.
Down there,
Exactly.
Like they respect Notre Dame. They are. Like, this is Georgia's biggest game in a long time.
Right.
You know, in the regular season.
Exactly.
They're like, hey, you know, the Dogs got to they got to come ready to play.
Right.
So
they can't just take this as a slouch Notre Dame team.
Exactly. They're not down there.
Right.
But the rest of the country, you know, ESPN, the Paul Feinbaums of the world, cannot stand him.
Right.
But they're like, oh, Notre Dame's just going to get steamrolled. They're going to be, you know, they're going to be proven that they're a fraud.
And you know what? Personally, I feel like it doesn't matter if we won or lost. If we win, say we win by 3, or say we even win by a touchdown,
yeah,
it'll be a fluke. Paul Feinbaum will say it's a fluke.
Right.
It doesn't matter. The people like that, like, it really won't.
They're
like,
true Notre Dame haters.
Exactly. Like, it doesn't matter what we would do. You know, look at what everybody said. We got steamrolled by Clemson, but so did Alabama. So like,
and nobody said a word.
Nobody even said a peep. So.
And where was Bama ranked at the beginning of this year?
2.
Yeah.
Right.
They didn't catch no flack for any of for that. They got destroyed.
Yeah, they never will, because they have a cakewalk. And Clemson has the biggest cakewalk.
Right.
And that just has to do with the ACC, but still, you know, they all got cakewalks until at least the SEC championship.
Right.
Play your first real game of the season. And then the winner of that gets to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Normally.
You know that's I don't know. It's kind of frustrating to hear all that.
Right.
Negative publicity about Notre Dame. Like, I get it. For years, people were jealous. Honestly.
Right.
For years, we haven't been anywhere near, you know, the Notre Dame of old.
Right.
In the past 20, 30 years.
Right. No, I agree. And we haven't won a lot of big games when they mattered.
Last one I can remember is Oklahoma 2012.
Right. I mean, and we've won big games. I mean, I'm trying to think. What was Michigan ranked last year to open the season?
They were up there. I mean, it was a
Top
big
10?
game. Yeah, I think at one point they were like favored to beat us, and then I don't remember what.
There's games like those that we've won.
Yeah.
But like you said, when it comes to the BCS against Bama, when it comes to the playoffs, when it comes to some of the bowl games, it's like we haven't won those games.
Right. And we haven't. So it's under. I mean, I get it.
Right. I can take it. I can take the.
But
backlash.
what I don't appreciate is like people like Paul Feinbaum not acknowledging the fact that Bama got smoked against Clemson.
Saying
smoked.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally, like Notre Dame was in the game. There were like 2 plays really that changed that whole game. When Julian Love went out against Clemson.
And the touchdown before halftime, I feel like, was huge.
That too, but the kickoff where they called it out of bounds.
Yeah.
When we recovered it.
Yep.
Those 2 plays, when Julian Love and the kickoff, those 2 plays changed the whole entire aspect of that game.
Right. Yeah.
Outcome of that game.
Yeah. Like I said, there's gonna be those people out there. Like, we could go undefeated this year, beat Georgia, beat Michigan, beat USC. We could, like I said, go undefeated, and we'd have people say, you know what, they still don't deserve to be in, based off of last year's loss, strictly.
Right. Like, this is 2019.
Right.
We're not talking about 2018.
And, to be honest, Trevor Lawrence has. Don't get me wrong. I still think he's going to be a transcendent quarterback years to come, Peyton Manning type.
Yeah.
But he hasn't even looked that good this year.
No, he hasn't. He's
So
got a little. He's putting a little pressure on himself. I think.
And I think so is the world.
Yeah. And when you hear all that, it's like, man, yeah, I got to perform.
Sophomore.
Man, dude.
So
like, let this man live.
Exactly. So I don't know. So what do you think happens? Say they do win.
Okay.
Do you think that
we're on the fast track to the playoff?
Right. Like that's just going to ultimately boost everybody's confidence in the team.
Oh,
right.
Absolutely, because this game has been marked on Notre Dame's calendar for a while.
Some time, yeah.
They know that they've got to play their absolute best.
Right.
And if they do, Notre Dame feels like they can go down there and beat Georgia.
Right.
I think this is a confident group of guys. Like, they are hungry. They know what happened last year.
Right. And
they are out kind of to prove people wrong. I just don't know if they can.
Exactly. And looking at it more, I'm starting, sometimes their linebackers scare me because of how kind of slow they are.
We've lost Tavon Coney. Drew Tranquil. That's tough to fill, man.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, because Asmar Bilal.
Yeah.
He is great, but he is slow.
He's never in the right spot.
Yes.
I think he's athletically fast, but
right.
I think he just doesn't know where he needs to be.
Time.
He doesn't know where he needs to be.
Right. So I don't know. I do think our secondary is good.
I like our secondary.
Safeties, like I said, they need to keep bringing Gilman in the box.
I love Gilman.
Yeah, because
Alohi Gilman hits people, and he's only like 190 pounds.
Exactly.
He comes up and smacks people.
We will see.
So you think they're gonna lose by like
3 to 7?
3 to 7.
Yeah.
I say 10.
Yeah.
Do you think it's teetering on? Is it more likely to be a close game or a blowout?
And like have the score be closer than it looks type of game?
Sure, yeah.
No, I think it's actually going to be close.
You think so?
Yeah. The one thing I think I've said before, and I probably said it last week or after week 1, is what I don't want to see is, which is what they do all the time, is they come out slow, make mistakes, and then correct them at halftime and play really good in the second half. Because against Georgia, that's not going to work.
You cannot do. You got to start fast against Georgia.
You have to be ready first snap of the game.
And that's these first 2 games of the season. That's kind of how they've looked.
Yeah, I feel like
they've just started slow, and I'm like, guys, Georgia's gonna smack you in the mouth. They're gonna put 2 touchdowns on you
exactly
right away.
You cannot get down.
It's gonna be 14-0 in the first quarter.
Exactly. You cannot. Because that's what they're great at. They're great at going into halftime, looking at their mistakes, fixing them, coming out and correcting them, and playing well. That's not going to work.
If you're down 21, 28 points, that's not going to work.
Exactly. It'll be long gone. The game will be over.
Yeah. So like I said, you and I are probably some of the biggest Notre Dame fans.
Oh yeah.
Out here.
Oh yeah.
But we're trying to be realistic here.
Exactly.
So,
which is tough sometimes.
It is tough. You got to separate the heart from your mind, from your brain. So
exactly.
That's what I try and tell people, man. Got to be objective. Can't think with your heart all the time.
Right. You can think with it, just can't say it.
Right. Exactly. Because then you look like an idiot.
Exactly.
So yeah, man. Let's I think we talked enough about Notre Dame. Let's move on to the Bears. And Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you take this one.
So we had week 2 against the Broncos. It was 15-17.
No, 16-14. Is that what it was?
Sure.
We won by 2.
Yeah. On a last-second field goal by Eddie Money from 53 yards.
Eddie Money. That's what we call him now after 2 weeks.
Shoot, that's what they're calling him. I'm just following. No.
Oh man.
On the bright side, they got the win, and I think that win's going to do a lot for that team, regardless of how they got it.
Yeah.
Because I also think if they would have lost that game, it would have done a lot to them in a negative way.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, just look at how the team reacted when they won.
Yeah.
So I think that goes a long way to saying like, okay, this team still has that energy.
They
like
got some juice
they're
to
not
them.
down on themselves and I think that win, that is gonna do a lot. Like I said, like it's keeping everybody focused. They know they can still win games. But at the end of the day, it's gonna come down to Trubisky. Week in and week out, and in week 2 another. You could call it a better week, but it's still unimpressive and below average as far as performance goes, I think.
So to your first point about the energy and the team being excited about winning, like it was a huge win.
Right.
They really, like you said, they needed that win. And,
exactly.
And I think they've I wonder if they've kind of embraced like the underdog.
Right.
A little bit,
right.
That underdog mentality.
Right.
Because of all the, negative attention that Mitch Trubisky is getting.
Right.
So they're like, yeah, like we got this win, like we're rallying behind our team, behind our quarterback. Everybody loves Mitch.
Right.
I like Mitch as a leader.
Yeah.
For the team, like he says all the right things, he does all the right things, he works hard.
Right.
But then to your second point, it's just like he wasn't impressive again.
Right.
He made the one throw at the end of the game, but I told you, I'm like, dude, I could have made that throw easily. There was nobody within like 10 yards of Robinson.
Right. No. Yeah, no, there wasn't.
You know what I mean?
Right.
All he did was he got a little pressured, step up in the pocket, made the throw to a wide open receiver.
Right.
And he got down.
Right.
What that play really should have been, honestly, like, because if that play goes a half second longer, game's over.
Game over. Yeah, potentially like killing the team's like.
And then we're 0-2.
Yeah.
So really, that play had to be a 2-3 step drop and the ball's out.
Right.
In my opinion, that was too close. That was too close.
No, I agree. Like you said, we would have to go back and look at it to see what type of play
like if
development.
A receiver was open and he just didn't hit him.
Like they said, they took that from the Saints and Houston game.
Right.
And I do think that it was a fair call. I think there was a second left when he was down. I don't think that it was a faulty.
Right.
Like after really looking at it, like it was the right call.
He was down, and then
they had a second.
We're calling timeout. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't think, I don't think there's anybody in the locker room that's given up on anybody.
No, absolutely not.
That's not the type of team they are. They don't have guys like that.
No, they don't.
And that's how Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy have built that team.
Right.
But no, I agree. You could say, so Trubisky went 16-27, 120 yards, 70% completion rate.
Jesus.
Yeah, right. And then, but still, the scary part is his yards per throw average. This week was below 5. Last week was just over 5.
Yards per attempt?
Excuse me, yeah. He only had 1 rush for 8 yards. And I feel like he should be rushing more than 1 time a game, but that's just me. But yeah, I mean, I said it earlier.
No, so I don't mean to interrupt. His quarterback rating was 70, right?
I believe so, yeah.
But not his completion percentage was like 59.
Yeah, sorry, I meant QBR.
Okay.
His completion rate was just under 60, 59.
Man.
I'm the type of person, and I'll always look to the positives, right? So he didn't turn the ball over. He didn't kill himself this game. He didn't lose it for them.
Right.
Which he did in week 1. He put himself in bad positions. He made terrible throws and gave the ball away in a very critical. I think they were just outside the red zone, but the end zone and the pick. I'll always pick the positives over the negatives.
That's true. He didn't turn the ball over this week, which is good.
No. But it was an unappealing game for the quarterback in general. Again. And what I was, telling you earlier, I think after watching 2 weeks, I've now been okay with saying if he comes out with another performance like the past 2, I will be concerned for the Bears going forward. Even if they do win.
Right.
I think he needs to get a touchdown. I need to see him throw a touchdown.
Man, I don't even know what that looks like anymore.
Or run a touchdown.
From him. I don't even know what that looks like from him.
Shit, the Bears in general.
Man,
they have one touchdown in two games.
You ain't lying, man.
So, because he's a quarterback and because of his first 2 weeks of performance, it'll all come down on him every game now until he goes on a 3-game stretch of performing well. Right?
Yeah.
Even if he does have a good game next week,
it's like,
it doesn't mean, like, show me again.
Right.
Let me see it again.
We need to make sure that you're for real.
Right. Nobody's going to – you won't hear – I mean, you didn't hear nearly the same backlash this week as you did week 1 because they lost week 1, but they won this week. So everybody's celebrating.
You didn't hear it from a lot of the people that are the
national media.
Yeah.
But you're going to hear from the local media.
From the local media, like people like us that pay close attention, like we're like, man, Trubisky really didn't look good again. Right. I think we texted each other that night and we're like, dude, did not look good. But hey, at least they got the win.
Right, like
but
I don't know, like they didn't. He looked better than week 1, but that's not saying too much. Right. I mean,
I'd hope he would look better than week 1.
Right. Oh yeah.
If you don't look better than week 1, man, it's time to.
I'm still not comfortable with Matt Nagy's play calling though. Like he hasn't figured that out yet.
Right.
Even like the rushing attempts were there, and I'm all for it. Mm-hmm. But the pass play calling wasn't spot on either. Like, I still think they're working together to try and figure out what's best. I mean,
so you remember when things were working well last year, right?
Yes.
What's toward the second half of last year?
About,
and he was and he almost had me like, oh man, I'm a Mitch Trubisky fan.
Right.
Almost.
Right.
Not quite. I was still on the fence, but I was like leaning over towards the Mitch Trubisky fandom side versus where I had been.
Right.
So, what has changed? I mean, are they not on the same wavelength now? Did they expect too much out of him the first week and try and throw the ball too much? What's changed?
Well, I don't know exactly what's going on in the locker room, but like Matt Nagy said it himself, like he essentially took it easy on Mitch last year.
Yeah.
As far as play calling, play signals, everything across the board.
Yeah.
And I think he opened it completely up, like no regards, like left it all out there for Mitch. And I think Mitch has gotten to the point where he understands everything. He's just not putting everything into play. Does that make sense?
I got you.
So he knows what plays. He knows all the play calls. He knows all the signals. He knows everything because he studied it, but he hasn't mastered the actual play of it, I guess you could say.
He hasn't been able to execute it.
Right, because think about it. This is the first 2 weeks of executing it in live game. First 2 weeks. No preseason games, all practice.
Yeah.
Anybody can do anything in practice. That practice doesn't always translate to real-time game.
Right.
So I think there was a ton on his plate. I think he took it in mentally. He knows it, but he hasn't seen himself do it in live game.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So he still has to get to that point where, like, okay, so that's what that's supposed to look like when I'm getting rushed by Von Miller or Bradley Chubb. And, okay, so that's exactly where it's supposed to be, right? Like, he knows when Allen Robinson's going to curl to the inside instead of the outside.
But he doesn't know how to react to a defense
around him
coming. Yes.
You know? So it is only 2 weeks. He did get better. But, yeah, he has to show me something this week for sure, or I will be concerned.
So this goes back to my point about him not having enough starts in college, right? He would have seen obviously it's not going to be Von Miller,
right?
But he would have seen maybe similar situations and known what to do, because he's had multiple 20, 30 starts in college. Mm-hmm. He would have seen these things happen already. Man, that is really hard to adjust to in the NFL. Because in the NFL, like, you don't have time. You don't have the same amount of time you do in college.
Right.
And by time, I mean, like, the windows are smaller. The time to get rid of the ball is shorter. College, that's where you work on the things, and then you take the next step in the pros. Right. So I just think that he has missed a whole step, and it's like there's a gap. Like he's trying to jump from college to pro.
Right.
Instead of like there's a bridge when you're playing college ball, and then you step into the program. He's trying to leap over the
Right.
You know.
No, I get what you're saying.
But he's missed so much of that invaluable experience, like in college.
Right.
So that goes back to that point that I made last week. And look, man, I want Mitch to do well. I really do. I'm a Bears fan.
Right.
I just don't. I'm like climbing down the fence on the other side now.
Right.
Like I don't think like.
Yeah, and like.
I don't know if he's the guy. Again.
And to the point that you're making, it is 100% valid. But it's right now. There's nothing like. What did you expect him to do? Say, nah, I'm not going to be a first-round pick. I'm going to stay at school?
No, I didn't expect that.
No. So, like, what did you expect then? Like, you can't look back and be like, well, because he missed this, like, it's irrelevant.
I guess really, Mike. Listen,
or you're saying he'd be better if he would have stayed. I think
he would have been.
I think that's
he would have been better
for a lot of players. Though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. But quarterback is important. And it's really important at quarterback.
But he's got to have the confidence in himself to be like, okay, well, I can do this, which he does.
He can.
Yeah.
He can, but he's not consistent.
No.
And that's what makes you good, and that's what makes you great.
Right. No. And I don't think anybody right now feels that way, that he's good or great after
not
2
even
weeks.
He hasn't even been average. Last 2 weeks.
Obviously not.
Been one of the worst quarterbacks in the league.
Right.
One of. I didn't say the worst. One of.
Like I said,
Cam Newton ain't looked very good either.
The ceiling for, I saw this post, like, it said, like, at worst case, Bear fans, this is what you have to look forward to. A Marcus Mariota, a high draft pick who's athletic but doesn't ever fulfill what he could be.
And Marcus Mariota's not a franchise quarterback, as we've...
Right. So would you say Tennessee's stuck with him for too long now? Because it's damn near going on like 7 years.
They're going to have to draft a quarterback.
They should.
But also, they gave him more time because he got hurt. He's been
hurt.
In
year 4.
Yeah, he's been hurt, so...
In year 4. This is year 3.
He's played hurt.
Not his whole career.
We'd have to look back and see. He's been hurt quite a bit. It feels like Mariota's been hurt a lot. And he's had to come back and whatever, but...
Right.
But no, like, okay, so that's the worst that he can be, is what you're saying?
That's what they're saying. Basically, like, this is like...
Who is they?
Reporters,
Bears reporters?
I don't know if they were just Bears. I'd have to go back and look and see who exactly said it.
Okay.
But basically, like...
That's what you're hearing? Is
that's
the whole
worst
vibe
case, like, you have a quarterback that capable of doing it, athletic enough to do it, just never fulfills the shoes. He just... Like, Mariota's never really been able to do that.
Is that going to win you a Super Bowl?
No. That's what I'm saying. That's the low floor for Trubisky. Like...
And he's looked worse than that these last 2 weeks.
Oh, it's just, like, second year starting.
Third year.
He came in like week 8 in his first season.
It's 2.5.
Under the worst offense in the entire league. With the worst team around him.
Okay.
So, last year... Nobody was saying this about Mitch last year, and he comes out and has 2 bad games, and now everybody's dumping him.
No, people were still concerned.
Jameis should be unemployed right now. Winston should be unemployed.
Okay.
Literally unemployed.
Okay.
Like, shouldn't even be on a team.
You think he's that bad?
I'll take Trubisky 100 times out of 100 times over Jameis.
Because he doesn't turn the ball. Trubisky doesn't turn the ball over like Jameis.
Yeah, nowhere near that.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, if Trubisky's in... Jameis Winston is in what? Year 4 or 5 at least?
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
At that point, like, yeah, it's definitely time to draft a quarterback and move the hell on.
Well, yeah.
And they, like, I would have kept Fitzmagic at that point.
He was balling for them.
Right, and he just got benched. Because turnovers are what will kill you.
Yes. Well, the Dolphins are irrelevant. So let's not.
They had to get him because they had nobody else.
Right.
And so now Josh Rosen gets to start.
Oh, man, I feel sorry for him.
I feel sorry for that organization.
Man.
But I don't know. Like, I still am very under, like...
You have more hope for...
I am giving Mitch Trubisky a lot more time than people will.
Yeah.
Like I said, we have nobody to bench him for.
No, you're right.
Nobody in the free agency to pick up and start right now. So you just better get comfortable with him regardless if he plays good or not, because he's going to be starting for the rest of this season, guaranteed.
Yeah.
He could go out and play as bad as Jameis Winston, and he will not get benched.
And
because they've invested too much into him right now to say, hey, we're going to start over at quarterback in the prime of what could be our big run. We want to try and make it work with him for at least a full season. Like, they have no other option.
They don't. And that's their problem. That is their fault. That is the Bears' fault. If Trubisky doesn't work, that's on them. Because they really shouldn't have drafted him, number 2. Honestly. They really shouldn't have.
I mean,
we
like
know this.
Yeah,
we know
we've
this.
been over that.
But I'm just saying, I guess, again, and this goes back to last week when we talked about this. My whole problem with Mitch, it's not really even with Mitch. It's the Bears front office.
Right.
They've built such a great team, and they really just messed up at the most important position on the football team. At quarterback.
In the draft.
Right. They really just messed up there.
Yeah.
That's a big mess up, though.
Yeah.
That's like a big mistake.
Right. But
you can't miss on a quarterback.
I still think,
especially when you got Deshaun Watson sitting right there.
I personally think, and I should save this for another week before I say this.
Okay.
But did you watch Deshaun Watson last week in the escape of a game against the Jaguars in a 13-12 win?
Jaguars have a good defense.
Nowhere near what it used to be, but yes.
They have a good defense.
Not better than the Broncos. Not better than Green Bay this year.
Not better than Green Bay.
Not this year.
I mean, they held Tennessee to 7 points, and
Tennessee's trash.
Tennessee put up 41 against the Browns.
Browns are trash. Their defense is too inexperienced right now. I think they have a good young talent, but they're nowhere near the top tier.
Better. They'll get better over the season.
Time. Exactly. I agree.
Okay.
But I think Trubisky has the potential to be Deshaun Watson level.
Oh my God.
So, for example, last year, he was on his level.
No, he wasn't.
He was.
No, he wasn't.
You don't think he was?
No.
Based on just statistics?
Based on stats, based on just the throws that he is capable of making. Okay. Let me put it like this: Mitch is capable of making NFL throws. He doesn't do it as consistently as Deshaun Watson. The reason that Mitch had a high completion percentage last year. You know how many dump offs they had? How many little short throws?
No, but I would love to look.
A lot. I wish we had the stats pulled up right now, because that's how Mitch only threw for 120 yards last week. They're throwing little dump throws.
And that goes back to play calling too.
It goes back to play calling, but it also goes back to capability. What did Mitch not miss Taylor Gabriel pretty much wide open down the field?
Yes.
20, 25 yards.
That happens with every quarterback. If I went back and looked at a whole game.
Yes, every quarterback.
Exactly.
But come on.
But it happens. He also hit Tariq Cohen with a dime on the first pass of the game, and he dropped it.
I get that.
Okay, so
but
it happens.
He misses guys so many times. Overthrows them on deep throws. So many times.
I wish we had the damn advanced analytics stats so we could pull up percentage on throws over 40 yards or whatever.
He don't hit a lot of them. I guarantee you that.
What's a lot of them?
And I know Deshaun has DeAndre Hopkins,
best receiver in the league.
But listen, this man puts the ball on the money.
Yeah.
You saw that Saints game,
right?
When really they should have won.
I agree.
He led that team. He led them back. He led them to a game, what could have been a game-winning drive, and made 2 incredible throws. The only person that can make some of those throws, probably Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes.
The 2 throws in that last drive were literally 2 of the best throws I've seen in a long time.
Unreal.
Right.
Mitch don't do that, man. He doesn't do that.
But the thing is, this is what you would say if he did. Well, that was the receiver that caught it. Just like the
No.
throw against the Eagles in the playoffs, that dime to Allen Robinson on the outside of the back shoulder. Well, that was Allen Robinson. He did that. That's exactly what you would say, and you know it.
I don't know about that.
I think so, because you've never seen it before, so you don't expect it from him, so you don't give him any credit. That's what would happen.
You don't expect it from him because he never does it.
Because it's the you would literally say.
Would I though?
I think you would.
I feel like I give credit where credit is due most of the time. I feel like I'm pretty fair.
Not towards Mitchell Trubisky.
Man, I'm being pretty fair right now because he's trash right now. After these last 2 weeks, he's trash, and you just admitted it.
But
listen to me. You just admitted that if he does something like this next week, you're going to be concerned. After you've been one of his biggest fans throughout his whole career.
And that's fair. Like 3 weeks of below average performance should be concerning, right?
I'm telling you, I was concerned at the beginning of the year because I didn't think he had it, and he's showing that he doesn't have it right now.
He isn't. So what happens if he comes out and throws for 230 yards, 2 touchdowns, and they win by 14 points?
Good. You know what? I'm going to be like, that's improvement. I like that.
Right.
Let's see it again, just like you said.
But he makes a couple bad throws. It's going to happen. I can guarantee you he's going to have bad throws next week.
Okay.
I promise you.
He probably will.
He guaranteed he will.
Guaranteed he will. Absolutely.
Just like every other quarterback in the NFL will have bad throws and missed opportunities. People miss receivers.
Yeah, but Mitch does it too often, is what I'm telling you.
The Bears had 6 drops in week 1.
Fair enough.
In crucial moments.
Yes.
But who got the blame? All of the blame? 100% of the blame? Trubisky.
Nagy and Trubisky.
In my perspective, yes. I was more Nagy than Trubisky.
When you brought that up, I was like, okay, I'll give Nagy. Would I give Nagy 40%?
Yeah.
And I gave Mitch 60.
Right.
You know, that's fair. That's fair.
Like we
were in the ballpark.
Right. And it is frustrating because I think the expectations were so high.
Yeah.
Well, for Matt Nagy and this offense and Mitchell Trubisky to just take the leap.
Yeah.
The not quite the Mahomes, but the Deshaun Watson leap. Get to that level.
Yeah.
And now that the microscope is so dialed in on him and he's not performing anywhere near that level, the heat's on.
Listen, the heat is on because of where the Bears took him. The heat will always be on because of who was drafted in his draft class. That's just the way it is.
Right.
That's the way it's always going to be. That's the only reason he's gotten as much criticism as he's gotten. Right. To be honest. And I'll be fair and admit that. Okay, you're drafted number 2 overall. You better be the man.
Right.
You have to be the man. You are supposed to be our franchise quarterback, and you ain't looking like it right now.
Right.
So is it not fair to criticize him for where he was because he's supposed to be our franchise quarterback? Is that not fair?
I don't think it's fair for you to say it's not his fault he got drafted.
No, it's not. It's not on him. Like I said, most of my anger it goes towards Mitchell Trubisky, but it comes from the Bears being idiots and not drafting
one of the other two.
Yes.
Right.
I'm not even going to say Pat Mahomes because he was slept on. Not a lot of people were.
Yeah, he was outside the radar.
Yeah.
It was, I don't think it was Deshaun Watson, basically, is really where it was
first quarterback off the board had to have been Deshaun Watson.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, like we said, if any of us could go back, we would obviously change that. So They don't have a first-round pick this year. They have an early second-round pick.
Okay. You better draft a quarterback.
With that pick.
Yes.
Just based off this, no matter what happens going forward, you're drafting a quarterback second round.
Did you not say that last week? Did you not say, they should draft a quarterback this year?
Not with the second-round pick. If he plays like this, then yes. But you're saying right now, just off what you've seen in these 2 weeks, you're drafting a quarterback with your first pick in the draft, no matter what he does going forward.
I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that yet.
Yeah, because it's not fair. You have to see the rest of the season, which is what you're about to say.
You do.
Exactly.
You do, but I'm not. It ain't looking good is what I'm saying.
No, it's not. And we agree on that.
This defense is being wasted.
They're 1-1 going into week 3. Should be 2-1. They have plenty of time,
hopefully,
to figure it out.
You just went over the schedule before the podcast. It's looking pretty tough.
Yeah, but if they go into Minnesota 2-1, let's go back. I'll look at it again. Let's see this. If hypothetically, say they win this week, which they should, they'll be going into Minnesota in week 4, 2-2. Say they lose to Minnesota, which if Trubisky doesn't play very well, it could happen, right? They're 2-2 after the first quarter of the season. Then they have Oakland. Oakland started out hot. We'll see what happens in week 5. They can beat Oakland even with a subpar game from Trubisky. Not saying it'd be easy,
right?
But they could.
The defense will keep them in that game. Yep.
Then you have New Orleans without Drew Brees, but Teddy Bridgewater, still a very valuable quarterback.
Solid.
Be a tough game.
Yep.
So, like we said before, it's all going to depend on how Trubisky's playing. But after that, you have the Chargers, who took a huge slump last week, where it looked bad, and a Philly team after that. So
Philly ain't no slouch, man.
No, they're not. But they're beatable.
Yeah.
And then, so let's just stop there. So, for example, say they go 2-1 into Minnesota. They lose to Minnesota 2-2. We'll say a win against Oakland, 3-2. A loss to New Orleans, 3-3. Chargers. So
they have to go 9-1 to finish where they were last year. Do you see that happening?
They went 11-3 after week 1, or they went 12-3 after week 1 loss to Green Bay last year. So I definitely can see it happening. It's possible. We've seen it.
It's possible. It's possible. Anything is possible, I guess, right?
But let's look at their schedule at the second half of the season.
Okay. You still have to play Green Bay at the end of the year.
Bro, they have a tough schedule.
Yeah.
A whole tough schedule. So after Philly,
at Green Bay,
they get Detroit. Detroit is bad.
Should win.
They should win both against them. They have the Giants. They're bad.
Should win.
They should go on. So they go Detroit, then Rams.
Tough.
At Rams.
Tough.
Right. I'll be anxious to see where Gurley's at.
Yep.
Then Detroit again. And the Giants. So they should win 3 out of those 4. Guaranteed. Then they have a hot Dallas team right now.
Tough.
This, we're talking about week 14 now.
Still tough.
Yeah. Regardless, they're going to be tough. So the last 4 games of the season is going to, in my opinion, make or break their outcome of do they make the playoffs. But I think by week 10, we'll know if we have a chance or not, right?
Yeah.
Like, we'll know, okay, hey.
We'll know what.
We can compete in these games or we can't compete in these games.
Right.
So.
We'll know what Mitch is looking like by
exactly. Because we end on Dallas, Green Bay, Kansas City, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dang. Wow.
So.
Man. Yeah.
Well, to be honest, we'll know after week 9. Going into week 10, we'll know exactly what we have and what our expectations should be from then. So.
Well, I guess we'll just kind of leave it at that.
Yeah, I think we have to.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll talk about it. I'm sure we'll talk about it next week.
It'll be a topic of discussion all season, I'm
Whatever
sure.
Mitch we're going to talk about Mitch Trubisky and the Bears damn near every week.
And you know what? We didn't even get to the run game, which, yes, it was better, but let's not say it was, the run game was this and that. Like,
yeah, it wasn't.
I don't even think they broke 100 yards rushing.
Yeah.
So, I'm not even going to get into that this week.
Yeah.
They looked better. They helped Mitchell Trubisky, but it wasn't our saving grace, that's for sure.
Definitely not. So, we're going to talk about the other local team that is, playing right now. It's not the White Sox. It is the Chicago Cubs.
Oh, man.
I
hate to say, this is where I feel like I can play against Cam like he does to my Mitchell Trubisky.
What do you got to say? What do you got to say first?
I have a serious question. What do you think the rest of the season looks like for the Cubs?
They're not making the playoffs.
How many? They have 10 games? 9 games? Okay.
8 or 9 games left.
And about 5 games back.
They're 5 games back of the Cardinals. They are.
Is that wild? That's wild card.
Nope. That's the division. They are
okay.
Now. I think 1.5 games back of the Brewers, depending on for the second wild card spot, depending on what the Brewers do tonight.
Okay.
If the Brewers lose, then they're only one game back.
Right. Okay.
But the Brewers have been so hot lately,
which is crazy.
On fire. They don't even have they don't even have their MVP.
Right. Which is the craziest part.
And their pitching staff has not been great all year, but they just seem to find ways to win games.
Their bats just get them in it.
They get hot. And they have the easiest schedule out of the 3 teams in the NL Central.
The rest of the season.
Yeah. The NL Central is really the only race that is competitive right now.
Right.
So the Cubs have 5 more games with the Cardinals, 2 more this weekend,
which are going to be huge games.
We need those.
Yeah, so they're like must wins almost.
Must wins, and then let's hope that we can maybe gain a game.
Right.
And then we play them at the end of the season.
Right.
We got 3 games in St. Louis.
Right. Yeah, those games are going to be huge.
That sucks. So yeah, man. Looking at this team, they have so many good pieces, really good pieces, all-star caliber pieces. Former MVP and Chris Bryant. You can look at Javi Baez, finished second in the MVP last year. Look at Anthony Rizzo. He's a 100 RBI guy almost every year.
Right.
You add Nick Castellanos, who has honestly been one of the best greatest pickups. Free agent signings that the Cubs have had in a long time.
Right.
Listen, Cubs.
Yeah, sorry.
Shout out to my boy Tyler. Met you at the Cubs game, man.
Yeah.
When the Cubs are, going to free agency this year with Nick Castellanos, how much money do they need to give him? All of it, my man. Right. All of it. Give him all the money. He's been the biggest jolt to this offense that they've had in a long time. Easily. So, I'd hate to see where they'd be without him. To be honest
that'd
with
be
you.
Scary, kind of.
Because he is. I don't have his stats for the Cubs in front of me right now, but he has been on a absolute tear. It seems like every game that he goes up,
right?
He's getting a hit, he's getting a double, or he's hitting a home run.
Right.
He's doing something to impact the game every single game since he's been with the Cubs.
Right.
The game I went to on Saturday, double, scored 2 runs, 2 RBIs.
He just
he just hits, man.
Exactly.
So Castellanos, need to sign that man. Give him all of it. I already told you about Javi Baez. Wilson Contreras, all-star catcher, arguably the best catcher in the game right now. Right.
Right.
You got Jason Hayward, who has stepped up with the bat this year. A lot. He's got 21 homers, 60-some RBIs. His average is a little bit down, but his on-base percentage is pretty high. He takes quite a few walks.
Right.
I think it's hovering around 360 on-base percentage,
okay,
which is really good. And then you've got Kyle Schwarber, 37 bombs.
Right.
Doesn't hit for a high average, unfortunately, but he's had his best year of his career.
Right.
And then you look at the pitching staff.
I was going to say, so where is the weakness?
The weakness is in the bullpen.
Yeah.
And
which
the
is
weakness,
weird, yeah.
The Cubs, look, this is a stat for you. The Cubs have a 58% save percentage. The league average is 70%. The league average.
So they're almost 20%.
The league average. They're 12% below the league average.
In save percentages. Wow.
Are you kidding me? So almost 1 out of every 2 save opportunities you're blowing.
Right.
You got to be kidding me.
Yeah, that's...
You are not. You can't... And you want to look at their last 2 closers? Aroldis Chapman, who they traded, why is his name escaping me, to the Yankees. The second baseman hitting, he's got 36 homers right now. I'm looking up Yankees. I don't know why his name. I'm just so riled up right now. I can't even think straight.
Yeah. For those at home, Cam is lit
I'm so pissed off right now at the Cubs, dude.
He is going to hate my statement later.
You can go ahead. What statement?
We'll say it'll be a conversation for later.
Okay.
Sorry,
guys.
Spit this out. No, essentially, would you say the Cubs have peaked and they're heading on a downhill now? This will be. They have the most losses this season since 2014. And they took a huge jump after that, and then in 16 they won the World Series and have gone completely down since then. The seasons have gotten worse almost every season, and they will finish with, like I said, another step down from the seasons before.
Gleyber Torres, my guys.
He found it. Okay, good.
Listen, this man, he's got 38 homers, 90 RBIs.
In the season?
In a season.
Okay.
This is your shortstop. This is your middle infielder, shortstop, second baseman. He's slugging .549. His average is .285. You're telling me he wouldn't look good at second base for the Cubs right now?
Oh, I'm sure he'd look nice.
And look, I'm not gonna be too upset about this one because the Cubs traded him for Aroldis Chapman.
Right, which won that World Series.
Won the World Series for them.
Right.
Hey, you know what? Great. Okay, it's 3 years removed from this World Series. I'm itching for something.
Time.
I'm itching for another one. I'm itching for like to be competitive again. To be a team that, Theo and Jed have been great. They were great in building that team. But what have they done since?
Right.
You traded Gleyber Torres. You traded Jorge Soler, who has I think he's got 45 homers this year.
Mm-hmm.
Dude.
Come on.
You traded him for who? Wade Davis. Listen, these were two of the top closers in the game at the time. We had them back-to-back years. But guess where they are? Guess what team they're not on now?
The Cubs.
They're not on the Cubs.
Right.
They're not on the Cubs. And now we sign a guy in Craig Kimbrell.
Supposed to be the saving grace of the season.
I was like, oh, great, we got Craig Kimbrell. His ERA is 5.95 this year, highest of his career.
Trash.
His WHIP, which is walks and hits per innings pitched, 1.53. So he's giving up 1.5 hits or walks per innings pitched.
Right.
The man only throws an inning.
Yeah, exactly.
Highest of his career at 1.53. He's given up tied for the most home runs in his career. And guess what? He's only pitched in a third of the games as he has last year. He's already given up 7 homers, which is his career high.
Yeah. So, and they signed him to a 3-year?
3-year, $45 million contract. Averaging at about $15 million a year.
So what do you do with him?
So let me time out.
Okay.
Let me get to this point. The Cubs didn't want to sign Chapman because they thought he wanted too much money.
Right.
Right? I think he's making about $17, $18 million a year. You're telling me that you don't want to sign a guy who wants to be in Chicago.
Right.
You're telling me you don't want to sign him for $3 more million a year than you signed Kimbrell?
Right. Come on now. Pay the man.
The dude has been one of the all-time great closers.
Yeah. Pay the man.
He throws over 100 miles an hour. He doesn't get hit, man.
Right. Pay
the
man.
only time he gets in trouble is when he walks people and then somebody gets a little slap hit or something.
Right.
Come on.
Got to pay the man.
Stop being cheap. This man helped you win a World Series, and he wanted to be in Chicago. And you couldn't sign him?
Right.
You didn't even try. The Cubs didn't even try and sign him.
Right.
Aroldis himself came out and said, yeah, I wanted to be a Cub, but they didn't come out and try and sign me. They didn't make an effort.
That ain't right.
You got to be you got to be kidding me, dude. And now we got this crap.
So what do they do? What do they do going forward?
They're stuck now.
They're not going to make the playoffs this season.
Probably not.
Chances are very slim.
They're
hypothetically speaking, they don't make the playoffs. What do they do going forward?
So going forward, this is what the rumor is. They're going to get rid of Joe Madden.
Really?
And I'm so upset about that. Like, it makes me sick, honestly.
Wow.
Because this damn season, this 2019 season, is on Theo and Jed Hoyer. I don't care what anyone else says.
Wow.
They assembled this roster. We don't have a leadoff man. We haven't had a leadoff man since Dexter Fowler. We have a trash bullpen, a trash closer.
Yeah, you can't win
because
without
we didn't
pitching.
want to sign the last 2 closers.
Right.
Right?
Right.
2 of the best in the game at the time. And now we got this. Now we have one of the worst bullpens in the league. Are you kidding me? We should be, if we were, I think I did the calculation last night. If we were league average, we'd be about 4 or 5 games ahead of St. Louis right now.
Pitching wise, right?
League average in closing percentage.
Okay, okay.
I'm sorry.
Perfect. No, yep. I knew it was something to do around there.
So you got to be joking me. You're telling me that Chapman wouldn't be at least league average? Wade Davis wouldn't be at least league average?
Right.
And then, not to mention, every other time I turn on SportsCenter, I see Jorge Soler hitting a home run, Gleyber Torres hitting a home run. Like you got to be kidding me.
It's
man.
frustrating.
This whole and I see Dexter Fowler doing well for the Cardinals again this year. Well, you got to be kidding me. You're gonna put Theo kind of threw Joe under the bus at the beginning of this year.
Right.
I'm like, don't do that to Joe Madden, man.
Right.
He helped you win a World Series. I understand you assembled the roster. But Joe made the moves, and the players made the plays.
Exactly.
Like, you have assembled the shittiest roster that you've had in Chicago as far as it being a good team.
Right.
We got individual guys that can hit bombs, but they don't play baseball the right way, not all of them. We don't have any guys that can manufacture runs, that can steal bases, that can hit for contact, consistently.
Right.
you know,
So
it's
obviously you don't think firing Joe Mann is the
that's not
going to fix the problem.
That's not the problem. That is what's going to happen though. And
because
then
at the end of the day, it'll always come back on it. The coach, the manager.
No, see, baseball is different, man.
Really?
I think baseball is different.
So why would they get rid of Joe Madden?
The coach, because they want a different voice.
Okay.
It's more of the vibe that I'm getting is it's more of it's not you, it's us. So we're gonna break up, kind of a thing.
Right.
You know, I'm sure we've been in those you know relationships where it's like,
right.
oh, it's not you, it's me.
Right.
Like we need to move on.
Right.
And it's like that's such bullshit. And whenever that happens, it's such bullshit every time,
exactly.
is it not?
Right.
So getting rid of Joe Maddon's not the solution. I think they're gonna need to add some. They need a leadoff man.
Right.
For one.
Do they revamp their whole bullpen?
Not the whole
bullpen.
Oh man. They can't get rid of Kimbrel. Nobody's gonna want that contract.
Like Darvish, you got to keep Darvish.
Darvish has been good.
Yeah.
He's
Hendricks,
there's Hendricks is good.
He's not bad.
Fine.
Yeah. I think the top of your rotation is not bad.
The top of the rotation's good, but it's the bullpen that's got to be reworked, I think.
Yeah.
But the thing about bullpens that's really it's hard, they're hard to predict.
Right.
Because a guy can be great one year,
exactly,
and the next year he just doesn't have it.
Right. It's gone.
It's not like a starter. You know, a starter can. The law of averages play out for a starter better than they do a bullpen pitcher because starters go in 6, 7 innings.
Right.
They can weather those storms like, oh, he gives up 1-2 runs this inning, but then he's good. Whereas a bullpen pitcher, if he gives up 1-2 runs in an inning, it's like, in a crucial time, it's like, well, you just lost the game. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
So there's a lot more high leverage situations for bullpen pitchers, which is why good ones are hard to come by.
Right.
So I think the Cubs probably will revamp their bullpen a little bit. I wish I had answers, but I am telling you that the moves that are not the answers are some of the moves that Theo and Jed have made, and that is the reason why the Cubs probably will miss the playoffs in 2019 because of the roster that they have assembled. I get it, injuries happen, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
But that closer situation, that was the biggest question going into the year. Who's going to close games for the Cubs?
Right.
And they didn't address it. They didn't fix it after Chapman. Well, they tried to fix it with Davis. He was great. He only blew one save for the Cubs in the year.
Right.
It's like, sign that man.
Exactly.
Couldn't sign him. Couldn't sign him. Didn't sign him. So now you have no closer going into the next year. And now what?
It's frustrating, right?
They're
on the decline. They're on the downslope.
They might be. You know what?
It's scary to think that way.
I'm not gonna admit that they're gonna miss the playoffs again next year.
I don't think you hit the panic button.
Right. Not yet.
Not yet. But if they still have time. I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs this year. They have the
core.
Exactly.
They have the core group of guys.
The roster is good enough to still put together a good season.
Yeah.
But it's not going to come as easy as it has in the past.
Right.
You have a lot more to fix in the off season. Mm-hmm. What kind of free agents do they have? Any
Garrett Cole, need to sign him. Sign him. I don't care. Give him all of it. All of it. Garrett Cole.
What about Zobrist? He's a free agent. What do you think? I mean,
I think he might be done with baseball, man.
Really?
He might retire after this year. So pitching wise though, we need to get a couple of pitchers.
Right.
Starting pitchers. Garrett Cole is going to be out there. He is I guess you could call him the second number one starter for the Houston Astros.
Right, yeah.
Behind Verlander. It's like if he was on any other team, he'd be the number one.
Right.
But he's got 18 wins.
Yeah,
he's balling out of his mind.
Right, exactly.
If the Cubs could sign him, that would be great.
Because
they're losing Cole Hamels, who's making $20 million this year, I think.
Right. The Cubs are.
The Cubs are, yeah.
Who's are the Cubs the hot commodity team still though? Do you think they can still attract those guys?
Yes.
You think they can still attract those guys?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
So a lot of free agents that are out on the market, they're like, so Nick Castellanos. I know he's not a free agent.
Right.
But he got traded to the Cubs, and he's like, this has rejuvenated my career. This has made me love baseball again because he's playing for the Tigers.
Okay. Yeah.
Terrible team.
Exactly.
They're probably losing 100 games this year.
Exactly.
Maybe they already have. But he is like, I love Chicago. Every person that, comes and plays for the Cubs, they're like, I love Chicago. I want to be here.
Right.
So, yeah, I would say the Cubs are
still can be that hot spot in free agency and can still land those type of guys.
Absolutely. For part of it, like, as much as I trash Theo and Jed, part of it is because of them.
Right.
They, free agents know that these guys know how to build a winning team.
Right.
They didn't do it this year.
Right.
But they have a track record of being able to build a winning team. When the Red Sox won it, they went on a little lull after that, I think, and then they won another one.
Exactly.
A few years later.
Exactly.
So
it can be done.
It can be done.
Right.
I may be reacting as a really upset Cubs fan, hurt, mad, upset Cub fan.
Right.
But it's the truth, man.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Madden ain't the problem. The roster's the problem. Who assembles the roster?
Right.
The GM, and the president of baseball operations.
Right.
Those are the two guys for the Cubs that have been assembling the roster over this time. I'm glad they got us a World Series, but hey, let's not stop at one.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Like, keep it going.
Yeah.
Got to.
Yeah. So, that's all I got for the Cubs. I'm done. I'm off my soapbox.
We'll get another episode in for sure before the season's over, no doubt.
Yep.
Hopefully they're making a push, and it's.
Hopefully, I hope they just make it interesting going into St. Louis.
Right. Because that is the last series of the season for them.
Yeah. If they got to sweep them, at least to get into the playoffs.
Right.
That'd be interesting.
Exactly.
That'd be exciting to see.
Exactly.
So.
Knowing, okay, hey, we have a shot. Like, we just got to go do it.
Just go do it.
Right.
They control their own destiny with St. Louis, at least.
Right.
Because they're 5 games back, and they've got 5 games left.
Exactly.
So, hey, you can tie them still.
Right.
So go do it. Go do it.
Right.
Rizzo's out there playing on a sprained ankle, man.
Yeah.
Hitting bombs. He hit a bomb yesterday on a sprained ankle. Did you see how bad he sprained that ankle?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I did see that.
Wow. He rolled all the way over on that thing.
Which is scary.
Ugh.
That had to
He was in a boot for 5 days. And he came out the day after that, and he's hitting dingers.
One. Yeah.
Love Rizzo, man.
That's crazy, man. Well, shoot. What a little heated Cam got fired up there, man. He is not happy with the Cubs.
No, even though I'm still wearing a Cubs shirt today.
Oh, yeah.
So,
you can't give up on the team like that.
That's my squad.
Exactly. But yeah, I think that's a perfect way to end episode 18.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shoot, we might have a banger for episode 20, depending on the timing of it.
Oh man, I know.
You know what I mean? But no, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. That was a fun one. I actually really enjoyed the episode. I love talking about the local teams.
Yeah.
All of our favorite teams, essentially. Not so much the Cubs, but. Obviously, Cam is huge into them, but both like the Bears and both huge into Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So that's always fun to talk about those teams and really be able to dive into them and everything like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I enjoyed this episode for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna send it to Cam to send you guys off.
All right. So we hope you guys also enjoyed this episode. I know we got a lot of local listeners who are fans of Notre Dame and the Chicago teams. So if you like what you heard, go ahead and send us an email. Hit us up on our Facebook page. The email is cctitletown@gmail.com. So we're really wanting to hear some of your feedback. What you think about the episodes. If there's anything you guys want to hear going forward, be sure to let us know. Hit us up there, and we'll be sure to get it into the next episode. If you're not already subscribed, it is CC Titletown. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and YouTube. We'll check you guys next week.
Peace.